Okay, everybody. Thank you for attending and thank you for signing up. We appreciate it. My name is Dana Harrop, and I am the Vice President for the AEMCA. I'm also the Vice President of Sales for my company, which is SAA Logistics. Thank you all again for participating, for being a part of our webinars. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of being able to introduce Fleet Enable, Mr. Krishna Vattapalli, who I made Italian today, apparently. So he's gracefully accepting my lovely accent. On top of that, please note that we will go through the demonstration, the presentation, and at the end, there'll be places for you to ask your questions. So please feel free in the chat to ask any questions that you'll have, and we'll hold all Q&A for the end of the presentation. Krishna Vattapalli is transforming how transportation and logistics companies compete in the digital age. As founder and CEO of Imaginovate, I'm going to give that a good one, and Fleet Enable, he's helped dozens of fleets reduce operational costs by 20 to 40% while dramatically improving driver satisfaction and customer service. With over 2 decades navigating the intersection of technology and logistics, from enterprise software deployments to building platforms from scratch, Krishna understands that the best solutions don't just digitize old processes, they reimagine what's possible. His work spans Fortune 500 companies and growing mid-market fleets, all seeking the same thing: sustainable competitive advantage through smarter operations. Today's topic is elastic capacity, the new standard for air-to-door reliability. Please take note of our antitrust that is displayed on the screen, and please respect it and observe it. And it is my pleasure for Krishna to take the stage. It's all you.
Hey, Dana, MCA, and everybody. A big thanks to all of you for giving this opportunity, and a Happy New Year. I was told that until January 31, you can still say Happy New Year. So on that note, hey, good beginnings. Always January is great because you can plan ahead. You have a lot of exciting things going on. And on that note, Air Cargo is coming up in a few weeks. So excited about it. And the topic, right? So it's a pretty interesting topic. I'll take you through all these slides. And if you have any questions, please save it towards the end. And after that, I'd like to have a discussion about it because this is how the world is moving, but it's a slightly fairly new spin of an existing methodology. Okay. So I hope all of you can see my screen. Okay, let's get started. Elastic capacity, the new standard for air-to-door reliability. Okay. So Krishna Vattapalli, I think Dana has given a good background about me. I'm the founder and CEO of Fleet Enable. I love logistics because that's how things get from door to door, and there's a lot of ways to optimize the whole thing. So all my career for the past 25 years, I've been doing this, building technology solutions, and always learning new things to see how we can build better experiences to all the stakeholders across the board. A quick word about Fleet Enable. Fleet Enable is the most advanced final mile platform that unifies all aspects of a final mile delivery from port to destination. Our mission is to automate all the processes end to end, from order entry to invoice and everything in between, which allows carriers to reduce manual work and increase their margins, right? So we are continuously evolving, always making it better. And how is Fleet Enable tied to elastic capacity? That's what we'll discuss, okay? When we say we unify all aspects of final mile delivery, this is from air cargo or ocean cargo. We have a cartage component. We also have a drayage component. We have a warehouse management system. We have a line haul, and we also have a white glove services. So all in one platform where you can, if you're a carrier or a network of carriers, you can use all of this together or one thing at a time. Now, coming to the topic for today, elastic capacity. So by the definition, elastic capacity is the ability to scale up a capacity or scale down the capacity on demand. During the next few slides, I'm not a big slide fan, so I have very few slides. I want to talk more and explain more. We'll be going through why do we need elastic capacity? What does it mean? And when you start thinking about your scaling up and scaling down capacity, you could be thinking, hey, Krishna, isn't that what 3PLs do all the time? They reach out to carriers and get things done. No, it isn't. It's slightly different. I want to explain that. And finally, if you're interested, how do you get started? So those are the different things that we'll be covering during our webinar today. So first, let me start with what's the difference between a 3PL and elastic capacity, right? Typically in a traditional world, a 3PL would have contracts in place with carriers to say, hey, if it's going from Chicago to Dallas, I'm going to call you. If it's going to Milwaukee, I'm going to call a different set of carriers. And there could be a fixed number of shipments that we're shipping, or it could be that it's dedicated for those kinds of shippers or carriers. But it's all contracted. Second, if it's not contracted, now they are playing the game to say that, hey, who am I calling next? How many phone calls am I making? All these kinds of things. Of course, the technology has evolved where the technology is making the phone calls or sending out emails, but elastic capacity is beyond that. Elastic capacity is removing or reducing the human intervention in the middle and actually making those decisions and making things happen. Okay, so the next few slides, we'll discuss about it. Why do we need elastic capacity? Right? The market conditions are volatile. Since COVID, the world has been in some sort of a chaos, one way or the other. And because of COVID, one good thing that happened is air cargo demand has surged tremendously. A lot of people started shipping. Until then, people used to feel that air cargo is costly. But then people started realizing, hey, I can get things from my origin to destination much quicker. Even though it's slightly premium, it gets there faster, and I can send smaller shipments. I don't have to send a large bulk. So that's how things have changed. And as an example, in 2025, about 72.5 million tons of cargo was sent via air. And the good news is it's expected to grow. Okay. In the last 1 year, 1.5 years, in my conversations with existing customers and potential customers, one question I always ask is, hey, how's your business doing? How are things changing? Because when you look into the traditional 3PL truckload capacity, a lot of companies are shutting down. A lot of companies are having trouble managing their businesses. But the final mile carriers are like, hey, we have a lot of work than what we can handle. Okay. They're like, we have a problem with number of drivers that we can find, but we are keeping our trucks full all the time. So the air cargo is growing, and it also shows that they need more capacity. Secondly, everybody expects real-time visibility. Okay. For the past 2 decades, because of change in e-commerce trends and e-commerce shipping and everything, everybody expects visibility. And the visibility doesn't come cheap or easily. You have to invest a lot into systems. You have to invest a lot into the networks and everything to get real-time visibility, because whoever is starting at the origin is not the person who is going to deliver it to the consignee. There are a lot of parties involved, and all of them have to talk. The cost of final mile delivery has been at 53% for a very long time. And with all these advancements, it's still there. Finally, delivery accuracy, right? I mean, I'm sure most of you folks are attending air cargo. And if you happen to have a booth there, and if you happen to have a big booth, and if you want to send stuff, you have 2 days of time that you have to ship. If you 2 or 3 days, okay? And if it's before or after that, you have to pay a hefty price. So that's the delivery accuracy that our air cargo world is expecting for an event. Now, fast forward that to or extrapolate that to a consignee, they are expecting even more accuracy. So deliver as promised, the DAP score in 2025 on an average stood at 63.7%. Well, it seems higher, but there's a long way to go, because a lot of folks are involved in this to dial it up to get to closer to 100, if at all possible. Elastic capacity, the way it helps us, it allows either the carrier or the shipper or a freight forwarder to scale up the capacity, the fleet size on demand. The systems can identify shadow capacity by connecting with other service providers and identify what capacity is available. And that's how they can say, hey, if you are shipping something from Chicago and it's going to St. Louis, let's say, okay, bringing it from ORD out to a local warehouse and putting it on a different truck, line hauling it to St. Louis, and from St. Louis, putting it on a smaller truck. If the system can connect all of those dots through different providers and make it happen, that's when that's elastic capacity. We are just getting started. Okay. Um, because all the systems are connected, the real-time visibility automatically happens. You don't have to make a phone call, you don't have to read an email or wait for an email. Okay, everything happens seamlessly. Delivery accuracy, the system identifies the right kind of a carrier to be put into this one, to this network for this delivery to happen. So it looks into historical data, it looks into what kind of success has been there, and based on that, it identifies the network of carriers to make delivery happen. Okay, so elastic capacity, that's why we need it, because to help manage the market turmoil, market conditions, and build a stable thing, right? And better visibility into your shipment and make sure things get there on time. One more slide on why do we need elastic capacity, right? You take 10 hours to ship something 5,000 miles, it arrives on the ground, and it takes another 10 hours for somebody to even touch it, pick it, and move it. You just lost a lot of time, right? I mean, it's debatable. I mean, it's much faster than putting it on a ship, but you've put so much effort into getting stuff shipped from one part of the world to the other. But if you can identify a fleet which can pick it up as soon as the flight arrives on the ground and ship it to the destination, that is efficiency. And that's what elastic capacity can do. Okay? And we all know the cost of the warehouse space and an airport terminal, right? Whenever I talk to potential customers, that's the first thing they start explaining it to me. Hey, Krishna, do you know how much it costs for us? Can your system help us build that effectively? So that term is etched in my brain completely whenever I talk about stuff landing at an airport and getting shipped out. So this is a visual representation of how elastic capacity will be working, right? So I'll take it slightly into the future. It's not far off. And let's say a flight takes off somewhere in the world and it's coming to US and it's in the midair. At that point, connecting with IATA, if the system can determine when it's going to land, what's on that flight, and the shipper's system can say that, hey, I'm shipping about X number of pallets, and these pallets are going from this location to different locations. And then the system builds out a whole network of it. You need a 53-foot container here, or you need a box truck here. And then from here, from this warehouse, it's going to go to a local warehouse, and then it's going to put on a line haul, or I'm going to put it on a rail and ship it. And at my final destination, again, I'm going to take it to my warehouse, or I can just directly ship it to the consignee, depending upon the volume. And these days, the fleet is just not about trucks, right? I mean, we know that companies are experimenting with drone deliveries. And we also know that deliveries also happen on smaller vehicles like a car or a SUV or so, and also on foot. Okay, if somebody's going into a very tight space where you cannot get parking, but you shipped a USB drive or a mobile phone, you don't need a whole truck to do that. Somebody can walk and deliver that. So identifying all of this, we also know that there are services which are exposing this content to say that, hey, there's a fleet available here, there's some capacity available here. In fact, we partner with a company called Onward, who do this, and we integrate with them to get that data into Fleet Enable. And depending upon the capacity that's available on Fleet, we share it with them, and they also share the the shipments that are available at each locations that need to be shipped out. So we can pull that in and present to our carriers so that our carriers can identify this is something I can deliver and take it on. There are quite a few services like that. And now elastic capacity is about systems scaling your fleet, scaling your capacity up or scaling it down. And elastic capacity is also a borrowed term from the technology world, right? The servers scale up and scale down depending upon the load that's hitting the servers. So similarly, we are scaling up the capacity and scaling it down. Okay. So when you're talking about elastic capacity, comparing that with a traditional 3PL, technology is the primary difference here. For you to build, or for a carrier or anybody to build this elastic capacity, first thing you need is a cloud native TMS. A cloud native TMS allows your systems or your data to talk to others. We've been hearing that data is the new oil, right? It's because when you have data, you are taking the data and you are presenting it to somebody, hitting that with that information, getting data back, you're processing and making decisions based on that. Okay. When you're cloud native, it also means that you have divided your front and back end separately. Your back ends, microservices and everything, they can run on their own. You don't need any help. Even the front end is down, the back end is still active. So a cloud native TMS is important because it allows systems to talk to one another. Secondly, it's not that I'm getting emotional about this one. I have a little bit of a cough. I'm getting over it. So APIs allow your systems, your TMS, to connect with other service providers. In the transportation world, all of us are familiar with ADIs. All of us are also familiar with the pain of an EDI. Sometimes it's slow, it's error prone, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to set up an EDI, test it, and get things going. With API, it's instantaneous. You share your spec with somebody, and they can read the spec, and it gets connected. Okay, it's much faster to process, much easier to do. So APIs are the future, and in this transportation world, we are slowly getting to it. And one more important thing, the technology difference is the predictive visibility, right? Predictive visibility is ability to look into what is coming and looking into what is on the flight or the ocean cargo, wherever, and predicting to say that when can I start planning for this? Okay. And depending upon when connecting with IATA or any other services, predicting when a particular flight is going to land and planning the whole route, the whole fleet, that's what predictive visibility is. Decision making is about automation. So the system, once it's cloud native and it's API driven, so that it's connecting with a lot of data sources, taking all the data, now looking into all this data, it can make decisions. Okay, so that is automation. So all these services together, now you add a layer of AI around it. Now AI empowers the user to deliver better. Okay, so AI can hook into your data, hook into your partner's data, any other data sources, and based on historical patterns on how you've been driving things, taking all this information and suggesting the user, hey, this is how you can do it. And as you all know, AI can also do it for you, but get started, it's better that if AI empowers this user to say, this is what you need to do. Okay. So primarily, technology is the difference. Technology, first you have to start with a cloud native TMS so that It is accessible from anywhere, and you're separating your front end and back end so that it's always active and always running. And secondly, APIs, you have to be API driven, and so that you can connect with a lot of data sources, predictive visibility, because you need to know how many trucks you need, and you also need to look into historical data. Decision making is about automation and leveraging AI. You cannot spend 30 minutes without talking about AI these days, so you have to embrace it. Now, okay, this requires a lot of effort and a lot of investment, but what are we getting out of this one? First one, about flexibility. So it allows you to scale up or scale on the capacity based on demand. It's giving you flexibility so that you can start working with a lot more providers and you can handle a lot more shipments. And when there is flexibility and you're able to address the demands of who are your partner or anybody that's sending you the data, now there's more reliability built between that collaboration or partnership. Secondly, increased margins, right? When the system is able to plan the whole route from the point of arrival, entry, to all the way to the consignee's location without spending too much time at warehouse. Ideally, it should be zero warehouse time. That's what we all strive to deliver, but we are not there yet. If that happens, or if we start working towards that, then you're spending less time at the warehouse. That means a lot of touch points have been reduced. The shipment is not stagnant anywhere. It's continuously moving. When it's continuously moving, then you're getting paid for all of that, and hence there'll be increased margins. So that's how the carrier is deriving value out of this one. Visibility. Because of all this, the tracking is seamless because the transition happens so smooth. You're always cross-docking at best, and things are moving fast. So the consignee is getting real-time visibility and all of that. The consignee is happy, the carrier and everybody else happy is because of different increased margins. And finally, there's flexibility. So you're always optimizing the fleet that you have. So talking about fleet enable and elastic capacity, right? So fleet enable is elastic capacity ready. We are cloud native. Um, so our application is accessible always from any location and from any kind of glass. When I say glass, it's your tablet, your phone, or your laptop or a system. So now we are cloud native, accessible from anywhere, and API driven. So our APIs pretty much cover everything from order management to status updates, real-time updates. As soon as a driver delivers it, somebody updates the mobile device, your customer, your shipper is being notified about that POD and stuff. Raising invoices as soon as it's done and pushing that through API. So we have different APIs to cover all of this stuff. We have about 20 plus integrations, including integration with IATA to get flight information, all the way through ELDs to identify where a truck is and identify information about the truck. Okay, so we're integrated with quite a few systems. Our AI engine is called Able, okay, which enables you to do a lot of things much faster. So our Able AI engine predicts based on historical data and assess the user in their decision making. We always believe in augmenting the user than replacing the user because there's a lot of knowledge, and all of us know trucking world is built on relationships, just not on technology. So we always believe in that, and that's what our Able AI engine allows you to do. We are the most advanced. We are always evolving. We are always enhancing the system, and we are always modern. Okay, so fleet enable for all these reasons is elastic capacity ready. Okay, so I want to open it for questions. I want to talk more about elastic capacity, but we are at 30-minute point, so I want to see, hey, what more can I talk? What more can I explain? So I'll go back in slides if you want me to.
I don't see any questions as of right now in the Q&A, Krishna, but I wrote down a few notes. If you don't mind, I might ask you a few questions since nobody's asking
Please.
anything right at this time. Um, you said that they can upload transit schedules to help enable the person that's sitting at the desk trying to book the loads, the shipments, whatever it might be. Are you customer specific with the pricing that that company has in order to upload what they're, I mean, is pricing in there to begin with? It's not just about transit and service schedules. So are you uploading the customer specific rates in on the back end of it to help them make their decisions?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So I think it's shipper driven, customer specific.
And how often are you going back into the system, into your operating system to update transit schedules if a carrier, an airline, a trucking company, if you're talking about LTL, changes their transit schedules? Or is that something that the customer of yours is responsible for giving it, or is that something you're proactively doing?
So at this point, we're relying on the customer to give us the data, and so that we can update it, and they can also come in and update it. So everybody has access to it. All the stakeholders will have access to their data. They can come and edit it, or if they have an API to their TMS, we can log into it, or we can tap into that data.
Beautiful. Um, That's my questions. That's my two questions that I wrote down. Uh, can you offer, I actually have one more. Can you offer a specific need to scale the platform for the company's needs? Say that company ABC has a different need than DEF. Can you hone in on it and just be very specific? Or is it an out of the box product that everybody's getting the same module just with your rates and the transit times?
Great. That's a wonderful question, actually. Fleet Enable, the way we've developed it is everybody has their own configured style to it, okay? And it scales up depending upon their needs. So it's, even though it's a product, we have it built in such a way there's a core to it and there's other enhancements around it. And each one can have a different flavor depending upon your needs. And hence, we have a suite of things, right? From all the way from drayage through white glove delivery. And depending upon what you are, you can, it's more like a la carte. I need these two, or I need the whole suite.
Beautiful. Excellent. Is there anybody else that might have questions? There's a Q&A at the bottom of the screen. If you type a question in there, we can read it aloud, and Krishna would be more than happy to answer it. So please feel free to if you have any questions, because we've got his time. I think you did a beautiful job because I'm the only one that had questions for you.
Well,
Is there anything else that
or
you'd
it's a
like
two,
to give some insight to, Krishna, that maybe you didn't touch on this that might be related and beneficial for our listeners to hear?
good point. Well, one thing, well, beyond elastic capacity, I'm sure all of us are excited about air cargo. Like it's coming up, and if you happen to be there, please visit us. Booths at 316 and 317, I believe. And so we are there. That's on the air cargo side of things. Coming to business here, right? Technology and elastic capacity. Um, so there's the air cargo space, as I said, is growing tremendously, and it only will continue to grow. Pharma is one area, and there'll be a lot of demand because stuff needs to get done faster, along with cold chain and all these things. And in my conversations with some of our customers who are in that space in the cold chain, they keep talking about the necessity of sensors in the warehouse. I mean, the temperature shouldn't even drop from the point they take it from the warehouse and load it into the truck. So it's so strict. When you look into all these things, technology is becoming more and more important. And at the same time, technology is becoming more and more complex with AI and all that stuff. So if you haven't dabbled into AI, you have to do that because can feed a lot of data to it and you can allow the system to predict, to suggest what needs to be done. Okay. So invest in the right set of tools, invest into AI. The other challenge that it brings us is your team ready to take on AI, right? I mean, AI is evolving every day. As a technology company, it's getting challenging for us to start reading stuff every day. But non-technical folks will have even harder time. So it's about preparing your teams. And secondly, they'll be worried about, hey, what's going to happen to my job? So addressing that, because AI is coming and AI is changing the world, especially the supply chain world. So talk to your teams, make sure they're confident. Um, and we are always happy to talk to your teams, to you, to say that, hey, how AI can help and how AI is going to change. So
We have two questions for you, Krishna. The first one is, how do you manage legal and insurance compliance?
legal and insurance compliance. That's a very interesting question. So there are certain in our system currently, we have what are the compliances that are required by your shipper, and is what you have, does it match them? Okay, so um, we have those things that are available, and insurance, your truck insurance, your driver's license, and all these kinds of things. We have expiration, and all the stuff built into it. So we'll notify you when a date is nearing. Okay. Similarly, contracts. So your contracts expire every year. It starts from January through December. We notify you and allow you to keep track of what has happened in the past, historical data. So that's where we are currently. But we also had few requests to say that, hey, can you look at this document? Can you help us using AI? Can you suggest is this the right contract for us, or are there any challenges, gotchas that we need to link to it? We are not there yet, but we'll be there pretty soon.
Excellent. The next question is, what all does Able AI Engine serve today in Fleet Enable, and what's envisioned for it to do in the future?
Great. Um, so currently we have the ability to upload documents. So you can take a document, a PDF or anything, create orders based on that. And we are, in the next few weeks, we are going to launch something which hooks into your email and automatically creates orders and status update to customers and all of that stuff. We have been piloting with one customer. Now we'll be rolling it out to a wider audience. What's in our roadmap? We are investing aggressively into AI. So in the next few months, you'll be seeing about reports, right? I mean, uh, dashboards are old, reports are slightly old, and most of the time people download reports and make sense of the data. Now, what we are investing is, why don't you ask Able? So you ask people, hey, who's my highest paying customer? Or how is my satisfaction for this customer? How are my delivery? The system is going to sift through all your data and come back with information to say, hey, this is how you're doing, or gives you a report. And you say, okay, can you send this to me at 9 a.m. every day? And it's going to set it up so that that report is sent to you at 9 a.m. every day to your email. So that's coming up. And so we are looking at Fleet Enable more as a conversational thing. Like I said earlier, it's about how are you augmenting the user? Right? So help you dispatch and help you identify invoices that are not raised correctly. So all these things. So we are investing across the board in AI.
We have another question that popped up. What is the strategy to standardize our partner communications?
That is due to partner communications. So by partner communications, I mean like shipper carriers and all of that.
Let's see if we get a response from the person that asked the question. I would assume that, but let's see if they respond back to that.
Okay. So I think that let's say, I mean, considering that if it's
EDI.
EDI, oh, okay, that's what I was expecting. Well, the good answer is API. Everybody should get into the API world, but we are not there yet. On the EDI side of things, the biggest challenge is in the two systems talking to each other, making sure I'm sending the right set of data. The other challenge that we have seen is it takes most of the shippers take a lot of time because they have a lot of connections to do. Okay. So standardizing on this one, EDI is already a standard, but we are working with a set of shippers, high traffic shippers who send a lot of data, and building tight integrations with them. Okay, and saying that, hey, if there's a carrier coming on board, how can we just turn it on in less than a day instead of waiting 2 or 3 days, doing back and forth testing, or you sending us a form and we filling it and sending it back to you. So we had a very good discussion on one of the largest freight forwarders, and we are continuing that across the board, building tighter integrations with all of them.
That's all we have right now. Would you like to say anything special in closing? Anything else you want to just throw out there prior to us ending the presentation?
Yep. Yep. Hi. Thank you all for attending, and thank you, MCA, Dana, Madison, everybody, for allowing us to present. We are excited about this year and how air cargo can shape up the supply chain world. And we're excited about air cargo coming up, and we look forward to seeing all of you there. Okay. And well, supply chain is a wonderful space. A lot of innovations coming, and AI is going to change this even for this world even quicker for the better. So we look forward to partnering with you all to making all of this a better thing. Thank you. Thanks for the
Beautiful.
time.
Thank you very much, Krishna. This has been very informative. I appreciate it. I look forward to meeting you in person in 2 weeks in Orlando, sunny Orlando, as we're getting a major snowstorm in the United States this week. And thank you all for signing up, for being members, for being a participant of this. We appreciate it, and be on the lookout for the next webinar that should be happening either February or March. Thank you all very much, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.